Hi there. Welcome to the Tuesday Takeaway. It would be fantastic if you could say hello if you are joining live. I'll give you a moment or two to come on. How is everyone doing today? Are you having a good Tuesday? It's Tuesday, it's 1:30, and this is our regular slot for our Tuesday Takeaway. Just going to give you a moment to check whether anybody is joining, and I will dive in. So fantastic. So if you are joining live, it would be really helpful if you could type into the comments, hello. Hello there. Thank you for joining. So by typing in hello, you're ensuring you continue to see these videos. And I know that I'm not alone, which really helps me with these lives. So thank you very much. If you're watching on replay, could you type into the comments #replay? And that will also work some similar magic. So it's wonderful to be here with you in our regular Tuesday Takeaway slot. And our focus today is the reports that are prepared for reviews. So these IMRs that are prepared for the reviews can obviously make or break the quality of a review. They're hugely important. They are quite overlooked as a resource. And I asked, as I've mentioned to you before, my review community to flag up the issues for me. And it also, that all of these issues impacting the quality of IMRs helped me to then go back to those who produce them, who write them, who quality assure them, and who contribute to them, to tell me about the reality on the ground, as in why are we having these issues with them. So I was able to gain feedback from two sides of the coin, so to speak. And a lot of this comes from the authors I'm working with in the Strong IMRs program. So our focus for today's session is the reports in which issues of race, culture, and language are not considered. Okay, so this was one of the issues that was flagged about IMRs. And when we look at the why does this happen? I think this can be grouped into two categories. Let me know in the comments if these resonate with you. Do you think there's two? Do you think there are more reasons? I think one of the reasons is our own conditioning, our own internal bias, and our emotions about the topic of analysing the safeguarding response and speaking in our analysis about issues of race, culture, and language. So we might be uncomfortable. We might be afraid to say the wrong thing. We might feel like we're unskilled about the right questions to ask. And we might also be working alongside our own internal bias. Hi there, thank you for joining. And so that's the first group of reasons. Secondly, it's process. Okay, so we've got a lot of reasons within the system about why our reports are much more comfortable with talking about what happened than why it happened. So some of the common reasons that we don't delve into the why are things like staff turnover, scant recording, might be a defensive organisational culture. And they're all contributory factors, but it's mostly because we lack a decent framework. So with the right framework, we can ensure that we overcome many of these boundaries. Hi there, thank you for joining. So whatever the reason, without the right support, it can be really tough. It can be so tough to produce these reports for these reviews. And of course, we're going to be identifying shortcomings because people are undertaking this task over and above their day job and under, all the organisational pressures they're already working under, and they've got to commit to quite a tight deadline. So when we create a framework, what we want to do is make sure the terms of reference ask the right questions. We want to ensure that the template for the asking, that the report asks you to use is correct. And we want to be able to make the most of our panel. And again, it's all about exactly the right questions in that case. So there's quite a lot that we need to do up front to ensure that the process brings everything through that we want. There's so much we can do, and I think that it's such a fruitful exercise to sit down and kind of make the world stop while you develop yourself to produce reports for reviews. It's really worth doing. So it's all going to be part of this new program called Strong IMRs, and that's a virtual space for year-long development. And it's deliberately not a one-day or a half-a-day PowerPoint presentation, because those who are called upon to do this work might have the opportunity in that 12 months to actually implement it in the supportive space and use the group supervision. So yeah, we learn by quality assuring a selection of IMRs, but also we're going to offer this time round a live discussion which is called Understanding What It Means to Cultivate Cultural Competency in Your Reviews. And we're going to consider an IMR where this has been done well. So that's going to be really interesting. That's all going down next week. And yeah, I think something else that we do is differentiate the two types of preparation that we need if we know that we're that person who's going to be called upon to prepare reports and do work for reviews. So yeah, if you write, commission or quality assure IMRs, it's important that you differentiate these two types of support. So one type is the foundational work. It's the work that isn't done in the stress of a review landing and deadlines. It's the work that's done in preparation for the agency itself. And then the second one is the wraparound support. And there's quite a few different elements that we want to see here that we're going to offer when the request to do an IMR lands. They're two very different things, and they both need equal attention. So that's the way that we will approach this in the Strong IMRs program. So yeah, we use a case study. In Silk School, we work with it in a variety of different ways, but in the Strong IMRs program, what we do is we'd have the 13 reports land into our inbox, true review style, and then we just give structured feedback. We quality assure them and we give structured feedback to the authors. So yeah, it's open for enrolment now. The doors open for quite a short amount of time. So yeah, if you would love to get in on this live discussion called Understanding What It Means to Cultivate Cultural Competency in Your Reviews, please do DM me or ask me some questions, and let's see whether we can get you onto this program. I'll stay in for a moment or two to see if there's anything pertinent to the Strong IMRs program, and then I'll tell you about some other free training opportunities that we have coming up. So thank you for joining. That's lovely to see you. So the first free training opportunity that we have, this is for those who have to analyse the complexity in the relationship between intimate partner violence, self-harm, and suicidality. So this is a free live virtual workshop, and this is on the 29th of June at 1 p.m. I'll be joined by Estella Capellas Barbosa, and there's going to be a link in the comments. Thank you. You think Hanita demonstrated excellent cultural competence. I will feed that back. Thank you. It's good feedback for me, and it's going to be good feedback as well for the author. Thank you very much. So this is this is this free training opportunity. If you analyse the relationship of these overlapping problems a person might experience if they're living with domestic abuse. And prior to this study in June 2022, there were certain things we were able to say. So we were able to say that there is a higher incidence of suicide for those who use domestic abuse services, for instance. But we didn't really have any strong evidence on these three overlapping problems. So that's something you can join in later on in June. You've got a link there in the comments. And then also we've got a workshop in July where I'm working with Leanne James. She's the project lead for the Welsh Single Unified Safeguarding Review. Now, she and I will work together to offer you this free training on the 12th of July at 1 p.m. And that's called How to Get Started with the Welsh Single Unified Safeguarding Review. So by the time of that workshop, we will have in all the responses to that consultation that was available, and we're going to be able to speak much more about the detail of the model, how it's going to work, and how you can get involved. So that one might be good for you if you want to work with that new model in Wales. And then the final one I would love to speak to you about. I haven't talked in this group about the one that's coming up in September. So on Monday, the 25th of September at 1 p.m, I'm going to be working with Jonathan Dickens, who's the head of School of Social Work at the University of East Anglia. And he was involved in producing the latest triennial analysis, that last one. And he's going to speak about many things from the themes from that triennial analysis. We're going to speak about labels like professional curiosity and challenge. We're going to speak about poverty, neglect, many things that cross-cut across all types of review. And one of the things we're going to speak about is the publication of action plans. So we know that when overview reports are published, there's not always an action plan with them. We're going to delve into that too. I think that's a really important area for this community to consider. So we're about to post a link to that one. That, again, is free virtual training opportunity. It's 90 minutes long, and it's called How to Improve Your Reviews Using Themes from the Last Triennial Analysis. So, does anyone have any questions at all regarding all the things that are coming up? Particularly strong AMRs, because that's the first thing that we're doing. And there's so many people out there who spend a lot of time, put a lot of energy into producing their IMRs. And I think that what those people tell me is that they often don't know if they're kind of going off at a tangent. They don't feel like the framework is there to help them fully answer the terms of reference. There's a lot of variables that they're not sure how to place within this process, that, you know, where does this sit within the review? So I think that speaking about a framework and making this idea of being less resource intensive for IMR authors is super important, and they really are a section of the review community who I would like to support. So how is all of that landing? Oh, thank you. We've got a great comment here. So professional curiosity is very interesting. Different people express it differently. And I couldn't agree more. So the way I feel about this term is that when we use the term professional curiosity in a review, it feels too vague. I'm not sure that it really tells us about the why. I'm not sure it's truly analytical. And what I would like people to do is not lean on this phrase quite so much, because obviously individuals are always interacting with the system, and the system has many imperfections. So was it really that, you know, it feels quite judgmental to say this professional lacked curiosity? Was it really that they lacked curiosity, or did they have to choose from a range of unpalatable choices, for instance? So I think that it's quite easy to trot out the term professional curiosity when really we can go deeper in an analysis, particularly within a review. So thank you for your thoughts. Those are mine, but we'll go into it far more when we sit down with Jonathan in September. So thank you for that comment. Thank you, Andrea. It's great that you can make it and you commit to so many of the trainings. It really is appreciated. I think we're all keen to develop ourselves, but sometimes people don't necessarily prioritize that, or find it hard to prioritize that. So it's great to have your support. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think I'm coming in around, I like to do around about 20 minutes because I hope it fits in great with your lunch break. But yeah, this is super good to always have an opportunity to sit down and chat on a Tuesday. So when you're teaching health professionals, Andrea, professional curiosity opens a realm of conversation. I'm sure it does. And I think that it being used in different environments to the review might feel that it's less judgmental. In a review, it can feel really judgmental because an individual is there in a big, wider system, and to suggest that they lacked curiosity might not be quite exactly the way it was. So we want more of the why, really, ideally, in reviews. Okay, thank you so much. This was a great discussion, and I look forward to seeing you for the next Tuesday takeaway. Have a good week.